Can the Bengals get back on track on White Bengal night? Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. The 2-4 Bengals on a 4-game skid coming into Paycor Stadium tonight, taking on their arch rival, the 4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers. Needless to say, this is a must-win if the Bengals have any realistic chance of catching the Steelers in the AFC North. Yes, it's only week number 7 for the Bengals, but they need this win in the most desperate of ways. The Bengals, again, will start Joe Flacco at quarterback in place of Jake Browning, who, of course, replaced Joe Burrow in week number 2. The Bengals haven't won since that Joe Burrow injury. 0-3 under Jake Browning. Of course, last week, a gallant second-half rally fell short 27-18 to the Green Bay Packers. Now the Bengals back home to begin a 3-game homestand against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets, and then the Chicago Bears. But first things first, the Bengals need to win in the trenches against a team. When they do win in the trenches, they win the game. When they don't, they usually get blown out. That has been the case with the Bengals the last several times they have played the Pittsburgh Steelers. Of course, the Steelers have owned the Bengals here at Paycor/Paul Brown Stadium. They've won the last 3 meetings between these two teams here. 22, the season opener, 23, and of course last year in that shootout, 45-38 over the Bengals here at Paycor Stadium. As a matter of fact, the Steelers have beaten the Bengals here in Cincinnati in 10 of their last 13 meetings and 13 of their last 15 head-to-head meetings here in Cincinnati. Bengals need to find a way to regain home field advantage, and tonight they'll have the White Bengal uniforms behind them as they try to do so. The weather here could not be more perfect for an October 16th night in the fall. We are expecting temperatures in the upper 50s, no chance of rain, and very little wind. There might be a bit of a breeze, but only to cool the fans off inside Paycor. Ideal conditions tonight for the Bengals and the Steelers. In terms of what to watch, the defensive line for the Bengals, Shamar Stewart is expected to return after missing 4 games with an ankle injury. Will Trey Hendrickson join him on the other side? Of course, in the first half last week at Green Bay, he suffered a hip injury. He went out actually late in the first half with what was reported as a back injury, but we later found out it was due to being hit in the hip area. He did not practice all week, which is not really a surprise given the fact that it's a short week. It's really about managing your bodies and trying to get ready for a game on short week on Thursday night. So the Bengals defensive line, can they put pressure on number 8, Aaron Rodgers? Of course, the last time Aaron Rodgers played in this building, it was that overtime shootout back in 2021, won in overtime by the Green Bay Packers 25-22. The Bengals need to get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and DJ Turner needs to continue his development. The Bengals cornerback has made huge strides. Al Golden talked about that this week in his meeting with reporters. DJ Turner could get significant reps against DK Metcalf. The Steelers obviously will try to feed the ball to DK Metcalf down the field, but underneath, watch for Pat Freiermuth. He has been an absolute Bengal killer in the last couple of seasons. The numbers support that. 15 catches, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns last year. Obviously, the two teams split. And then the year before that, 9 catches for 120 yards. Pat Freiermuth has been an integral part of the Mike Tomlin offense. Will Arthur Smith, the Steeler offensive coordinator, use him again against this Cincinnati defense? That will certainly be one of the things to watch for. And of course, there's always running back Jaylen Warren. He is the feature back for the Steelers. Watch how he is used and implemented in the Steelers' offensive game plan against Al Golden's defense. Offensively, the Bengals will not have tight end Mike Gesicki. He went on IR. And then the other tight end of note that is out of this game, of course, is Tanner Hudson. He had a touchdown on 4th down last week. He suffered a concussion in that loss to Green Bay. he is unavailable this evening. So Noah Fant, what kind of role will he have on second and third down for the Bengals? And Joe Flacco, keep a very close eye on that, because he figures to be the number one receiving option as a tight end for the Bengals. Of course, Joe Flacco is going to continue and try and do what he did in the second half last week at Green Bay. Feed Jamar Chase, feed T. Higgins, and let the offense flow from that. So that is the stage being set here inside Paycor Stadium on White Bengal Thursday night. National broadcast. Will the Bengals respond and snap their 4-game losing streak? We'll have you completely covered, of course, on the Jungle Roar Bengals post-game podcast. Myself and Richard Skinner of Local 12. You can catch that at youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Follow all of my coverage before the game, during, and after, of course, locker room reaction on the X at Trags, Trags, and of course all my online content, including tonight's prediction and preview, that can be found at clnscincy.com. Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.